what do I do after +2 or during +2? Is university open to all, or how do I take an informed decision? Or do I go by what my neighbor is doing, or my aunt, a distant aunt or a cousin tells me to do something? Will I do that, or will I get influenced by people like Ambassador Deepak Vora or Dr. Murthy? How did they attain this status in life? Anybody else could have done it, and can I follow them? Are they my heroes today?
Please don't get Dr. Murthy to be your hero, but not Ambassador.
No.
Yeah. So
I think they need to follow the passion.
Yes. So we thought we'll have a free discussion with the young people, and basically we are doing this on a weekly basis.
I can't see you, sir.
Okay. Yes.
He is not switching his video.
Yeah.
Now I see you, sir.
Thank you.
Sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Will you lower your computer screen a little bit so I can see you? Thank you. Now you build the frame.
Yeah. Bye.
And you too, Vice Chancellor, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. So we want young people to take an informed decision, which means they have to weigh the pros and cons of every important program that is available in this country or outside the country. And each of the campuses, there is a general feeling that whatever programs I offer is probably the best. But then from us to young boy, girl, his point of view and the parents' point of view, they need to know what are the
programs. Will we have boys and girls on the show?
Yes.
Well, so, while Vice Chancellor Saab is a role model, let me tell them how I became special advisor. Hanging around in the corridor, somebody came and said, "Hey, come here. What do you do?" I said, "Nothing, hanging around." "All right, special advisor ban jao." So that's a bit of they couldn't find anybody else. They found the worst possible specimen and made him special advisor. They regret it, but they're too proud to accept that, to acknowledge that they made a mistake. So I continue.
Yeah, I mean, for the participants, I want to tell you something. You don't get to hear and see Ambassador Deepak Vora on a daily basis. Of course, he's on television most of the time. Right now, he finished one session with one channel, and we've been lucky. And last Sunday, I saw him on a television channel, and I next day morning, I decided I should reach out to you. Very kind of you, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, I want to mention something before the formal opening remarks by the Honorable Vice Chancellor starts. This campus in Dayanand Sagar University, we have 3 campuses which offers engineering and most of the programs uniformly across the 3 campuses. But the campus here, which is located on Hosur Road, is a little different. I can call it unique, because about 10, 11 companies, multinationals, they heard our story and they were convinced that they can to come and partner with us. And partnership is not just coming and giving a talk in a class or training our faculty or participating in the curriculum development, but they decided to host their labs. So we have about 11 state-of-the-art labs. And what we do is we want to seed the idea of entrepreneurship in a young kid who's in class 9 and nurture that talent until he reaches college. And most likely he can come into our own campus or he can go to another campus. But the opportunity, the facility that is available in this campus on Hosur Road in Bangalore is opened up to every school child and every pre-university student or an engineering student who wants to pursue innovation and through that set up a company of his. Now, if Government of India wants to do the Make in India, what you are the ambassador of, you will love the story. You should take the next flight and be in Bangalore to see what is Dayanand Sagar doing. How are we trying to hold the child's attention, convince the parent, your future, your child's future is in starting a company, becoming an entrepreneur, taking the risk. So
and if you want to join government, then it's only the foreign service. Forget about everything else.
Yeah. So
I entirely agree with you, sir. Mr. Vice Chancellor, at any point, if you would like me to be associated, involved in an advisory capacity, I would be honored and delighted.
Wonderful.
Sure, sir.
I would be honored and delighted to do that.
Yes,
so
sir.
Now it's 4:05. I think the students will continue to join, and they had some tests.
4:01. So we start now, sir?
Yes. I'll request the Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Murthy, to make some opening remarks, and then we hand over the stage to the ambassador. Yes.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, and it's my pleasure to extend a warm welcome to Ambassador Dr. Deepak Koraji, Special Advisor to Prime Minister and Special Advisor to Ladakh, the Autonomous Hill Development. We are fortunate to have an eminent personality to talk to us about emerging careers in the new world order. As for my understanding goes with whatever little experience that I have, the future is far different from what we had in the past. It is going through tremendous change and it's extremely dynamic. Therefore, it's necessary for the students or the parents to understand the future skills requirements are far different. Therefore, the people with good conceptual knowledge who have ability to see connections across disciplines and who can apply that conceptual knowledge to a newer set of applications are the ones who are going to do really well in the future. Second, the traditional jobs that we have seen in the past may not be present in the future. They more or less vanish, and newer kind of jobs would be created. The third, I would like to indicate very clearly that opportunities are plenty for all branches of study, irrespective of whether engineering or law or medicine or whatever. All that is required is to follow your passion. Therefore, you need to be very, very clear about your passion, follow your passion. The last thing that I would like to comment is that in future, possibly one thing that's been predicted is that the person may not work in a single company for 30, 40 years. That may vanish. Mostly, a person would work in multiple companies simultaneously. That's one thing which may come in. The second, everything would be like providing service. Probably the energy in future, there will be multiple service providers, like we get the internet service from multiple service providers. That kind of concept may come in. Therefore, it is necessary for the students to be prepared to embrace the change that's going to happen, which is highly dynamic and is going to be highly demanding in future. I see the future jobs are going to be highly demanding and high paying also. The payments also are going to be very high. We are extremely fortunate to have Dr. Deepak Koraji to talk to us about this, an important topic, probably with his experience, with a wide range of people speaking to. Probably Deepak Koraji would tell us what is there in us in the store for the future. I invite, sir, it's all yours now.
Thank you very much. I'm screen sharing now. Vice Chancellor Saab, Pro Vice Chancellor Saab, mummies and daddies of the students who are in class 12 and who are participating, and my dear kids. What a pleasure and a delight to be on your webinar. Professor Janardhan, can you see the slideshow? Can you see the PowerPoint?
Yes, I can.
I'm going to start that in a moment, but let me just begin by saying that my name is Ambassador Dr. Deepak Vora, Special Advisor to 3 heads of government in Africa and to 2 in India. I am delighted to come to a world-class school, world-class educational institution like DS University. I've been there before. I know what you're capable of. And to all the young kids watching, now spend the next 25 minutes without going to sleep. You ready? All right, so here we go. Now we start from the beginning. So, you just heard, you saw the first slide, you saw the thing. Let me just talk to you a little bit about the Chinese virus. We're all worried about it. Western countries are overwhelmed. They don't know what's happening. China is falling into a thing that we call the Caligula trap. Caligula was a stupid fellow, Roman emperor 2,200 years ago. at the time that the Roman Empire was at its height. And he is a very cruel fellow. He used to go boiling chaps for breakfast. So when his generals told him that, Your Majesty, the whole world is going to hate you, he answered in that classic thing, we call it the Caligula justification. He said, let them hate me as long as they fear me. The Chinese have fallen into that trap. They've given you an example of their power to hurt. And India has shown you the power of its example to heal. Not the example of its power, but the power of its example. Because as the great Indian thinker Chanakya had said 2,200 years ago, in sickness, it's a friend that stands by you. Look, let me tell you 4 facts about the Chinese virus attack very quickly. India's response, probably the most effective in the world. We have the lowest rate per million of mortality, of death. 130 countries, including the richest, we've been helping them. You like Donald Trump, you don't like him, that's your judgment. But when he tweets that we shall never forget India's help, India has been great, it means a lot. It's a very powerful signal that we in diplomacy are trained to interpret. Do you know that over 100 countries ran off to the World Bank, to the IMF, and to their bilateral donors saying, "Hamara to bilkul problem ho gaya, humko thoda madad karo." India did not. And then under Vande Bharat, are you aware that from 140 countries, we've brought 500,000 Indians back? And the program is continuing. Your mother, her name is India, is reaching out to her children in distress. I say, hold your heads high with pride. An Indian is in trouble, India reaches out to bring him or her back. And when our pilots overfly that half country called Pakistan, the Pakistani air traffic controllers say, guys, we are proud of you. Listen to what the world thinks of India. And then when everybody is surprised at India's success, then you get a few stories written by the Indian chamchas of Western countries saying, oh, India's health system is collapsing, this is going to happen, and the migrants are dying, all arrant nonsense. You know, I call myself an observe analyst. I observe and analyze. I was made in India in 1951. And when I was made in India, Mr. Vice Chancellor, overwhelming poverty, 92% of Indians were in overwhelming extreme poverty. Only 12% of Indians had ever been to a school. We had less than 1% of our wives, daughters, mothers were in the formal workforce, 1%. And then we had this philosophy of fatalism. Are, ye to hamara bhag hai, our kismat is no good, etc. And whenever we had a crisis, we ran to some white fellow to help us. By the time I die, India would have eliminated illiteracy and extreme poverty. India would have moved very high on gender equality and become very self-confident. My dear sons and daughters of India, I see the change. You know, these are the years of uncertainty when we felt helpless. I refer to these, and the Prime Minister does too, from the 1950s till through the 80s, the lost decades. There was a shortage of everything in India. I mean, anything made overseas was greatly prized. Let me just tell you what happened when this was the lost decades. In the 50s, we had foreign exchange shortage. We had nothing. I mean, our agriculture collapsed. Anything made overseas, we used to run to buy it. And accepting aid had become a very bad habit for us. So we just went through a very bad period. 62, we fought a war. 65, we fought another war. Our currency was devalued. I mean, it was a disaster. And then in the 1990s, we begin to see India's renewal, the national spirit. You know, your IT prowess. You all remember what was called the challenge of the K2. In the year 2000, all the computers were supposed to collapse, but it was Indians who went around the world and repaired those computers. And then we started acquiring overseas assets. Tata Jaguar in 2008, Airtel took Zen. Look at space technology, ladies and gentlemen, look at it. I mean, we launched 104 satellites from a single rocket. People say, what's the big thing? Well, the big thing is that you prevent the satellites from colliding with each other. From 2003, we do not accept any more foreign aid. Why? Because even these tiny countries like Denmark, Norway, Finland, and so on, used to come and give us lectures on our nuclear program and on human rights. We said, thank you, but no thank you. 2004, we handled all natural disasters ourselves. this aid dependence is getting over. 2019, we have smoked terrorists out of their holes in Pakistan occupied Kashmir and in Pakistan proper. And in 2020, just last month, we smashed China's face in Ladakh. You know, we've regularized the status of Kashmir. Look, we missed the first three industrial revolutions. The first one, 1750, second one, third one, but the fourth one, the artificial intelligence revolution, we are very much part of it. The UN opens its fourth center for the fourth industrial revolution in India after the USA, Japan, and China. We disappoint everybody who make all those dire predictions about India. Look, last month, a fellow called Donald Trump, he says India should be part of the world's most powerful grouping of nations, liberal democracies, called G7. Why? Why does he do it? Think about it. You like him or you don't like him. This is what he says. This is a book, you just heard the song, Bharat Ka Samay Badal Raha Hai. This is a book by an American diplomat, Alisa Harris, called Our Time Has Come, How India is Making Its Place in the World. I haven't written this book, an American diplomat has. Let me assure you that this is a bestseller in Pakistan and China. I'm being facetious. Here is a cartoon in The Economist a few years ago. The British Prime Minister David Cameron at that time bowing before Sardar Manmohan Singh, our Prime Minister, and Mrs. Gandhi, saying, Britain has no money, please give me some money. I didn't print this cartoon, The Economist did. Invest in Bavaria. For those of you who know, Bavaria is a state in Germany. The Germans coming to advertise in an Indian magazine asking Indian companies to invest in Bavaria. Happy birthday. What's going on? Here, an advertisement, the very heart of London. This is in India Today of April 2015, 5 years ago. The British saying, come and buy property in England, asking Indians because we're the only ones who buy it. And that Malaiwala fellow from Bangalore, whatever his name is, who ran away, he's probably got something over there. You know, the first demographic, for the first big mega trend that we are seeing is that demographies are changing. French historian who taught me at the University of Sorbonne, Alfred Sauvy, he used to say, Europe will be an old society of old people living in old homes discussing old ideas. Europe is already an elderly and haggard continent. The Pope said it 6 years ago. I didn't. The German foreign minister predicted 4 years ago, the Western world as we know it will vanish before our eyes. Take a look at the demographic transition, sons and daughters of India. Look at this. The demographic window of opportunity is when you have many more people between the ages of 15 and 64. That's what we call the producing age group. Less than 14, you consume more than you produce. More than 64, you consume more than produce. But this age group, 15 to 64, and in which most of you are, I'm also there. This is the age group in which we produce. India's median age, half of the population of India is less than 28 like me, and half of the population like your Pro-Vice Chancellor and the Vice Chancellor are more than 28. Take a look at Russia. The median age is 40. Take a look at Japan. It's 47. The Japanese have forgotten how to make babies. We can teach them, Professor Janardhan. We have the technology. Western Europe is 44. 1 out of 4 Europeans is over 60. 1 out of 3 Japanese is over 60. 1 out of 10 Indians is over 60. Look at this window of opportunity. We are the youngest country in the world. We have 1 billion people in the productive age group. The second thing we are seeing in India, focus on education. If you read the Mahabharata, the Pandavas are running around in the forest and they come to a pond, they are thirsty. They drink the water without answering the questions of the spirit, the guardian spirit, except Dharmaput Yudhishthira. The spirit says, what is man's most invaluable possession? He says, education. What are we talking about? Sons and daughters of India. 10,000 years ago, India was talking of education when these Western fellows were running around naked in the jungles. 50,000 universities and colleges in India today from 500 in 1950. One of the best is the DS University that you are privileged to be part of. By the way, I have 340 million students in India. Professor Janardhan, 51% are our daughters. 340 million, 34 crores. You teach me about gender equality? Happy birthday. Wait till these girls come into the workforce. Then I'll talk to you about gender equality. From what we were in 1947, our literacy is over 80% today. Of course, I shouldn't be telling the southern states you are masters in literacy, and we will hit 100% in 2 years. Why does Barack Obama come 3 times to India? He goes and tells American children after going to Bangalore that I've seen billions of kids in Bangalore working every day to out-educate and out-compete you. I didn't say this. He says this. The third mega trend, the shift of economic power. Look at this. The largest economy in the world in PPP, purchasing power parity before the virus, is China. 27 trillion, trillion has $12. Second largest USA, 21 trillion. Your country, India, is the third largest with 12 trillion, and Japan is 5.5 trillion. And do you know what India's private wealth is, including all the money that mummy and daddy are hoarding in the house? India's private wealth is $8.2 trillion. Trillion has 12 zeros, the sixth largest in the world. Not my figures, sons and daughters of India. This is the new World Wealth Report, and it says less than 3% of Indians live in extreme poverty. We are the sixth richest country in the world when it comes to private wealth. I haven't said it. This report also says by 2028, in 8 years, Indians will hold privately twice as much wealth as the average German or the average British citizen. So where do we spend this money? Vice Chancellor Saab, we spend number one looking better. We buy new clothes. We go to beauty parlors. Professor Janardhan, Pro Vice Chancellor Saab, are you aware that there are 650,000 villages and cities in India? 650,000, and I have 1.5 crore beauty parlors. Happy birthday. We want to look good. We wear new clothes. This fellow called Amazon whatever he is, a lot of his money goes on people buying clothes. Then we are eating better. We've got Swiggy, Piggy, Zomato, Tomato. In Bengaluru, you know all about it. We live better, we travel better, we communicate better. 1.6 billion mobile phone connections as of December for a population of 1.3 billion. Take a look at world militaries today. This is not my figures. This is the Global Firepower Index. Number one, USA spend more than the next 20 countries combined. Number two, Russia, very powerful. Do you know who's three? India and China at the same level. Come on, guys, wake up. These are the mega trends that gives India the self-confidence. And of course, then we have all these challenges, climate change, declining food production, water stress, and exploding population in poorest countries. Please, all mummies and daddies, thank you, the southern states of India, for what you've done. Wait till the population figures come out next year. You will be amazed that we are now at a stage where we are stable in our population. There's no population explosion anymore in India. You have done it. The state, we have some issues with the northern states where I come from, not in the south. Terrorism, Global Terrorism Index, not my figures. 163 countries surveyed, 99.7% of world population. 120 of these countries face terrorist attacks, and the top 5 nations are all Islamic. Right, wrong, this is the reality. Pandemics, China is going to unleash another one. Already they are talking of swine flu and bubonic plague. What a country. And the third is engineered intelligence. What is the result of these changes, ladies and gentlemen? 15%, please pay attention. 15%, Professor Janardhan, of the people of Europe who ruled over the other 85% of the world for 200 years. Today, they are terrified of losing their privileges. So they've lost their power, they've lost their strength, they've lost their money, but the arrogance persists. They won't give up their arrogance. We once ran an empire, says Boris Johnson, so we will survive Brexit. And he says the problem in Africa is not that Britain was once in charge. The problem is that we are no longer in charge. You know, the biggest disease today in the Western world is depression. Britain says they have 9 million people, mainly elderly widows who are depressed, and they are trying to get people to be their companions. I volunteered to be a companion if it's rich old widows. They said, well, they may be lonely, but they are not that lonely. There's a big problem of depression and loneliness. India is bubbling with self-confidence. Deloitte, an attitudinal survey of millennials and post-millennials. Millennials, those born after 1975, post-millennials, those born after 1985. They did this in 42 countries. Attitudes of our children. They wanted to know in 16 countries what these, in 42 countries, what these 16,000 kids are thinking. Amongst those who are optimistic, they had an optimism list. At the bottom, Norway, Sweden, Finland, Denmark, Japan, New Zealand, Australia, United States. Who's number one? Your country, India. Your kids, our kids. Goldman Sachs says India's story will be shaped by its 45 crore, 450 million Gen Next, born after 1995, who are now what? The post-millennials, they are 25 years of age, those born in 1995. It says your improved education, the sheer size of your people, your financial power will make India's story one of the greatest in the world. And this is for mummies and daddies who are watching and who keep saying our children don't listen to us. I can't do better than quote for you one of my favorite songs. It's called The Times They Are A-Changing by a 60s singer called Bob Dylan. And I'll just quote this paragraph. Come mothers and fathers throughout the land, and don't criticize what you can't understand. Your old road is rapidly aging. Please get out of the new one if you can't lend your hand, for the times they are a-changing. Don't think that your kids don't know what they are doing. They are much smarter than you can imagine. This is the Edelman Trust Barometer of this month, July 2020. The percentage of people who feel they'll be better off in 2025, India is right on top with 77%. Not my figure, sir. I don't own the Edelman Trust. They have brought this out. Here is the rising respect for India globally. What can I say? At the height of the Kargil conflict, this young Indian villager asked how he could register for the army. This is 1999. He was lame in both legs. People laughed at him and said, son, how can you join the army? You've lost both your legs in a train accident. Do you know what he answers? He says, gentlemen, I have come to fight the enemy, not to run away from it. How do you deal with this spirit, sons and daughters of India? This kid from Bihar saying, I want to fight the enemy, not run away. 2015, we have this yoga resolution. I'm sure you do yoga in June. 177 out of 193 members of the UN co-sponsor the resolution. I sit there listening to speeches in the UN General Assembly. A European ambassador says, my country supports yoga because India is the spiritual mother of all mankind. Another ambassador says, every citizen of this planet has two motherlands, his or her own, and India. We say we are Vishwa Guru. Take it seriously. The world takes us seriously. Sometimes we don't ourselves. July 2015, Yemen, civil war. We have to evacuate people from 40 countries. And the Yemenis say, the British, the French, the Germans, the Americans, the Russians, the Chinese, nobody can come, only the Indians. So we go up and bring them out. Sir, in November of 2015, I'm in Paris because I studied at the Sorbonne. I'd gone for a reunion. And this young immigration officer sees my passport, says, Ambassador of India. I said, yes. He says, sir, I want to say something. You brought 500 Frenchmen out of Yemen. I said, well, if we made a mistake, we'll take them back. He started smiling and laughing. Then he stands up, salutes me, and says, thank you, India. 1969, founding conference of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation in Rabat, Mexico. We were invited to be founders. When we got there, we were booted out. Pakistan threw a fit. We were told you can't be in. We said, why did you invite us? Sorry, we made a mistake. Well, we came away. We didn't have the strength. And last year, 50th anniversary of the founding of the Islamic Cooperation Organization. Who is the guest of honor? Your country, called India. Nobody is above the law. Indian electricity grid collapsed in July 2012, back within a few hours. Everybody said, oh, India says a big superpower. We brought back that electricity within a few hours. Nepal had an earthquake, massive one in 2015. They are fighting with us now. But we began our relief operations in 15 minutes. And in 6 hours, my supplies were in Nepal. The then Prime Minister says, we are blessed to have a neighbor like India. Sikkim was devastated by this earthquake. You know where Sikkim is, one of the most beautiful parts of India. International experts in September 2011 told us it would take up to 6 weeks to restore the road that was broken in 300 places. We asked the Border Roads Organization, and as I sit before you, I was there. I know what happened. We spoke to the Director General. We said, Prime Minister wants to know how long it will take. He said, let me do a survey. I'll come back and tell you. This is the Border Roads of India. 20 hours later, he calls to say the road is open. I say, Kaun hamare samne tik sakta? Look at this. This is the earthquake. I took this picture, sir. This is this young man. You can see that he's perched very precariously. He's drilling. He's going to put dynamite in it. He'll blast. The mountain will recede and he'll build the road. And I went to visit a mother, a Sikkimese mother. We lost 20 people. I went to her house and I said, sister, I'm sorry, your 24-year-old kid who was working with Border Roads, he died in an accident. He was working for us. He was making a road for my Doordarshan team because I was there to do a film on relief and rehabilitation. You'll get compensation from the military, from Border Roads, from Government of Sikkim, Government of India. I wrote her a personal check. And I said, anything else I can do for you? And she says, yes, I have a younger child. He's 20, he's just finished university. Get him a job. You are special advisor to Prime Minister. I said that as soon as I go back to Delhi, I'll ask my big, powerful industrial friends. One of them will give him a job. She said, you call me sister. I don't want a job for him in the private sector. Get him a job in Border Roads. So if the need arises, he too can die for India. Sons and daughters of India, as the water rushed into my eyes, I held her hands. And I said to her in Hindi, Ma tujhe salam. I salute you, mother. And if I'm ever born in India again, I would like to be born from the womb of a mother like you. Then I got an answer, Professor Janardhan, to a question that has haunted me from childhood. Why are we Indians? We're not Indians because we live in India. We are Indians because India lives in us. You know, we had this problem in 65. We fought a war. Our agriculture collapsed. Mrs. Gandhi went to beg the Americans for wheat. We survived from ship to mouth. 9 and 11 million tons of wheat we imported. Largest imports in human history. American newspaper wrote that India's new leader comes begging. I say you don't deal like that with Mrs. Gandhi. Mondays we were told not to eat. 1966. You don't know what hunger is. I have slept hungry 1 year. Every Monday, we didn't eat. I recall distinctly, we didn't have dinner because not that my father couldn't afford it, but he was a loyal Indian. He said no. So we didn't eat. In 1991, we had only $1 billion in our treasury. That's all. We were practically broke. We asked all our friends, give us a loan. They said, no, we don't trust your economy. We had to mortgage our gold, 150 tons. And today, we sit on over $500 billion of reserve. We are the second largest food producer in the world. Never, never, never again. For too long have others written our destiny. You know, a country that forgets its past has no future. We don't forget, sir. We remember. We made mistakes. Never, never, never again. To all you children watching this webinar, we make a commitment to ourselves. Now we will write our future. No one will write it for us. I touch my ears. I ask God to forgive me. We will write our future so that nobody else can write it for us. You make me this commitment. If you make me this commitment, I make you a commitment. I was born in 1951. Soon enough, I will transition. I live till eternity. And my tombstone in Kargil, which I've already made, says, scattered in the dust, silent I remain. When India's bugle calls, I will rise again. When my boss saw it, he raised a question. He said, does this mad fellow love his country so much? I replied, sir, I have only one country. That's the only one I have. Therefore, I love it so much. So as Indians, have faith and confidence in yourselves. Do not allow cynicism to affect you. Look, to be born Indian is a lottery of birth. All right? Overcome fear. Chanakya said, if you are in a battle situation and you are afraid, first fight the fear, then fight the enemy, because beyond lies victory. Somebody asked the Mahatma, Bapu, how will I change the world? He said, begin with yourself. Be the change you want to see. Sons and daughters of India, we are not gods, but we are Indians, which is the next best thing. We are lifting one Indian out of poverty every 1.2 seconds. For the Swachh Bharat thing, we built one toilet every 2 seconds. We opened 2 bank accounts every second, first time in human history. 15 kilometers, 15 minutes, we built 1 kilometer. September last year, your poor starving country, India, what these Western jokers say, gives a loan, a soft loan of 7,500 crores to Russia, whose per capita income is 5 times mine. We told the Russians, your prime minister said, you helped us in the past, you are in difficulty now, India gives you a soft loan. What are we talking about? This is India. This convergence is taking place, first time in human history. 1/4 of India's population, school, college, enthusiastic, gung-ho, 2/3 in the productive age group, fastest elimination of poverty ever, and our self-confidence, self-esteem is exploding, and you have decisive leadership. Who can stop India's rise and rise? Our national and civilizational renaissance is evident. What is India's eternal wisdom? Very simple. I'll translate it for you into English. Asam ne jo paravidhi kadiya lagu je saudhar shari jano vasudev kutumkar. Small minds say this is yours, this is mine. The great people of India say the whole world is one family. We are the brave men and women who work while others sleep. Sons and daughters of India, we stay while others run. Come on. We will build India's pillars deep through your jobs, your education. We lift them to the sun. At 73, we are in puberty. We are incredible, chafing, churning, changing. 125 years ago, Swami Vivekananda had said future India must be much greater than Indian India. He said, than ancient India. He said, India is awakening. And all of you who were sleeping for the last 30 minutes, now please wake up. Because Jaga Bharat hai ye, India has woken up. Our soaring spirit, the saffron color in your flag reflects courage and strength. This is the new India that we are building. This is the new India that you will give me and you will bequeath to your children. The party has just started. We are the best. The others are the rest. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening to me. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Professor Janardhan will answer your questions. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you so much. I've stopped sharing. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. I will start with one question. Sir, can you speak a little about the new careers that would...
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. I'm sorry I got carried away in my presentation. The first thing that we are looking at, and for which we have the 4th Center for the 4th Industrial Revolution in India, is engineered intelligence, artificial intelligence. Those of you who are interested in science, rush to that area, specialize in that. The second big challenge that we are going to face is climate change, environmental degradation. Become environmental scientists. And there's a whole new field of international law that deals with environmental change. And countries like China are the biggest culprits. Now we need experts who can deal with it, who can argue our cases. The third area we are looking at is agriculture, smart agriculture, because what is happening with climate change, food production is declining. And we need to have more production from the same acreage. We have to grow vertically rather than horizontally. That's the third, what we call the sunrise area. Fourth, we see tourism, we see leisure industry blossoming in the years to come, because while we today have a new paradigm, so-called, in teaching, which is virtual learning, online learning, we still like to touch and to feel and to see. So we will see this explosion once this Chinese virus has been contained. And we need lots and lots of people. Your country's capital, the nation's capital, New Delhi, by the way, has 97 5-star hotels, more than any other capital in the world, the national capital region. Bengaluru has several dozen. That is going to be the 4th sunrise area. And the 5th career that I would like to tell you is civil engineering, particularly road and tunnel drilling. If you can take any one of these 5, the future is assured. India needs them. India needs you.
Now the imports from China and are banned by the government of India.
Not all imports, sir. We are imposing tariffs, but we have banned their apps. So again, in artificial intelligence and in engineered intelligence, that's a whole new ball game. I mean, today over 95% of production in India is small and medium industry, because the big fellows, outsourced it all to China. I could buy a product from a very famous brand name in India. The wretched thing was made by these jokers across the border. But today, and just today, we've got the news from Foxconn. You know, they are the world's largest assemblers of Apple phones, sir. They are shifting their plant lock, stock, and barrel from China into India. Wonderful. They are coming here. They'll create 6, 7, 8,000 jobs. I'm sure they'll set up their factory, expand their investment in Bengaluru. But this is an indicator of what is happening. So this is something you should be looking at. Keep your eyes and ears open. When so much of production in India is going to small and medium industries, micro industries. I mean, today, what does your prime minister say? Listen to the guy. He says, Atmanirbhar Bharat, self-reliant India. Become self-reliant, because that is your future. Anything that you can make, the 5 areas that I've talked about, research, development, civil engineering, smart agriculture, artificial intelligence, leisure industry, go for it.
So what about biological sciences and healthcare programs?
Very much so. Very much so. And again, when I talked about artificial intelligence, health is included in that. When this wretched Chinese virus attacked, maybe the first million people who were infected, we had 10 million experts. Nobody had any idea how to deal with it, even though China has been unleashing viruses on the world with regular frequency. Now they are unleashing the bubonic plague and the swine flu. But if we can focus on health, last year, sir, before the virus shut us down, we gave 2 million health visas, medical visas to foreigners wanting to come to India and to Bengaluru, along with their attendants for medical treatment. We are already a health superpower. We'll probably be the first to find a vaccine for this Chinese virus. So health is one of the greatest areas linked to what I call engineered, what you call artificial intelligence. No question about it. Medicine will be a big thing, particularly dealing with pandemics. If you become an etologist, a virologist, or whatever the epidemiologist, those are the big things. We see it happen.
Yeah, would Indians be accepted, career Indians and specialists? Would Indians still find place in global jobs?
What is happening in Europe is they are an aging society, right? We saw that, 1 out of 4 Europeans is above the age of 60. Now, when they rebuild their economies, they'll need human resource. Do you think they are going to take the Chinese? Happy birthday. Do you think, sorry to say this, do you think they're going to take fellows from Pakistan? From North Africa? It's India that will meet their needs. So there'll be tremendous opportunities for a structured manner of satisfying the demand in the developed world for young, trained, committed workers. It's going to go on increasing. I see that happening in the next 10 years as those countries seek to rebuild their shattered economies.
So what skills would be of value, especially students now entering college?
I just mentioned to you the 5 areas, but as far as the European industries are concerned, for them, the biggest thing would be manufacturing. Their manufacturing has been all but destroyed by China. They want to bring it back. For them, tourism is a big thing. For them, agriculture is a big thing. These are the sectors in which they will want people from. Retail, they will want people from. I mean, take a look at all the big companies in America. There was a joke I saw on WhatsApp. Somebody sent me, next time Trump calls a meeting of top American CEOs, he'll have to serve idli dosa, because 9 out of the 10 top CEOs of big American companies are from the southern part of India. It was a bit of a joke, but it suggests an underlying reality.
Yeah, that was extremely nice that we had a good discussion. So if people would like to work for the government, the bureaucracy, would you recommend the IAS, the IPS, the IFS, the IRS?
Look, I'm a foreign service guy. I'll say all the others are useless. Join the foreign service. But no, of course we need people who has preserved the unity of India, who has enabled India to take off, all within the framework of a democratic system. It's your civil service. Come on. I mean, that those days of my bap, for the government, that the government knows best, it doesn't. I'm at a senior level in government. I can tell you, we don't know the best. You know the best. If you want to join government, absolutely come. We are looking for committed young people. What do I seek? What do I want if I interview young recruits who are going into civil service? We look for 3 things. One is we look for total, absolute integrity. Second, we look for commitment to India. And third, we look for passion. If you don't have the passion, it won't work.
What about the joining armed forces, the Navy?
Nothing like it. We considered it an extension of government service, right? The military today in India third most powerful in the world. What a great career. May I say something to you? How can man die better than facing fearful odds for the ashes of his fathers and the temples of his gods? The only temple we worship at, ladies and gentlemen, is called India. The military, one of the finest careers in the country. And look at your soldiers. Look, they keep telling us the Chinese are stronger than us. Oh, yeah? They haven't fought a war in 41 years. The last time they fought was in 1979 against the Vietnamese. They got clobbered. No Chinese fighter pilot has even 1 hour of combat experience. Look at my boys. We go to Balakot and clobber the hell out of those guys. We have the experience. China hasn't fought a war. They don't have one soldier who knows how to fight. So they talk about winning a war without fighting. That's Sun Tzu character, whoever he was. If you read The Art of War, he said best to win a war without fighting, because the people he was writing for 2,500 years ago, he knew they were cowards. And that if they ever fought a war, they'd get thrashed as we have thrashed them now. The military is a great career. I come from a military family. All right? I served. I wore proudly a uniform. My wife is the daughter of a senior army officer. Our daughter is married to the son of a lieutenant general. What more can I say? Superb career. Superb. Once again, 3 things. Integrity. If you join the military, you have to have the passion, and all you have is commitment to the flag, to the tricolor.
The government of India has been talking about clusters in pharmacy and in the electronics sector. Would you like to elaborate and make some?
No, the government is saying that in states, they have given this this prerogative to the states to decide. Clusters is basically a fairly old idea that you provide the infrastructure. But you know the 2 areas that you've referred to, sir. You've referred to electronics and you referred to pharmacology. These are the 2 sunrise sectors that we've talked about. Absolutely, it's going to work. I mean, the world, I'm not at liberty to name the big company, but let me just tell you something. 9 out of the 10 companies that have major supply chain systems in China, 9 out of 10, ladies and gentlemen, are talking to us. I'm not saying 9 out of 10 will come. 9 out of 10 are talking to us. And your prime minister has said, we'll roll out the red carpet. He's told the states, come on, we'll do it. And your system of law, your legal system is very strong. China, just today, they've announced they're going to tax their foreign citizens, Chinese citizens working overseas. What kind of a joke is this? And yesterday they had a seminar in China where a former industry minister said the Americans are not giving us high technology. We are far behind the Americans. So we have to develop our own technology, admitting thereby that up to now they'd been cheating and stealing, which is their character. I mean, look, let me put it to you very bluntly. Professor Janardhan, to the young lady who's on the screen, to the other faces, if you had the option between working and living in the United States, leave India out, forget that you're Indian, between living and working in the United States versus living and working in China, what would you choose? I rest my case.
So there is a question from Bhavana. What is the future for judicial reforms? How is the state looking to bring in reforms?
You've touched a raw nerve. We are talking about it all the time. Judicial reform. Our judicial process is so slow, and there is a backlog of so many cases. Of course, we are seized of it. So what happens is that you arrest a fellow like this, this fellow who violated the person of a young doctor. I think it was in Hyderabad, or this gangster in UP. And then the system takes its own shortcuts. These fellows get eliminated in encounters. But the judicial system certainly needs reform and review, and that is coming. We are talking about it. The finest legal minds in the world are saying we have to do it. It will happen. Bhavna, there are so many priorities. There's so much to be done. We are trying to prioritize. Remember Robert Burns' famous thing, the woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep and miles to go before I sleep. Yeah. We have to do it. We've lost 50 years. Now we are determined to make up. So you will make up. Young lady, you will do it.
Yeah, she's got a PhD in maths. She's one of our important faculty here.
There you are.
Yeah. There's a question from Tanmaya Sharma, and the question is on space. What are the opportunities in space sector?
You know that ISRO is today, the Indian Space Research Organization, is ranked the best in the world. The best in the world because of what they've achieved. I mean, the rocket technology we have, the satellite, already referred to the fact 104 satellites run from a single rocket. We are way, way ahead. What's going on? It's in Bengaluru. What's going on there is Star Wars and a half. And it's way beyond Star Wars. Certainly, if you're interested in space technology, for not just for military application, for weather forecasting, for communication, for agriculture, space is relevant to everything. And we are firmly committed to non-militarization of outer space. We have talked about it. Do you know who hasn't? The Chinese. Very peace-loving people. Happy birthday, if you believe that.
So one more question is from Agastya about genetics and Indian Air Force from another student. Two questions.
Genetics is a very, very big thing. If you're talking about genetically modified organisms, food and so on, absolutely. Initially, we were a bit reluctant, but now we have realized that to meet the food challenges of the world in the coming years, you know, Africa today has 54 countries, members of the African Union. 49 are what we call sub-Saharan or Black Africa. When these countries became independent in 1960, 44 out of 49 countries in Africa were food self-sufficient. 44 out of 49. And today, all 44 are net importers of food. Something obviously went wrong. Africa is 7 times the size of India. Same population of India, 10 times the water resources of India, fertile land, not able to do it because they haven't paid, they don't have the human resource. So genetics, certainly if that can be a solution to the world's food requirements. Water management. We are a water stressed country. Pakistan is a water scarce country. This is going to be another big thing in which space technology will help us. And then the second question was about the Indian Air Force.
Yes, yes.
Oh, superb career. And when you fly in those heights, if you become a pilot or an engineer, whatever, the world is your cradle. It looks totally different from there. The freedom that you have. And our pilots, the best ever invented in human history. What God did, he made the Indian pilots and then he broke the mold so that no one can copy them.
So Mr. Panindra's question is about MSME. While government talks of support and MSME being the backbone of India, but then there's a huge bureaucracy that is coming in the way. And
Is that true? If there is, please get in touch with Niti Aayog. We'll clobber the bureaucrats who do it. I mean, your state is one of the most progressive. I do not believe that this is true. There may be some junior level fellow who's grown up in the old system who's still being difficult. But by and large, the civil service in India today is extremely cooperative. They've been challenged. Prime Minister has given them a vision. Which fellow talked about Swachh Bharat, sir? Do you recall the kind of cynicism that there was, that we'll never become open defecation free in 5 years? I mean, we had 60% of India's population going to the fields and rivers and lakes every morning. Today, not one. We gave ourselves a vision of 20 gigawatts. A gigawatt is 1 billion watts of solar energy. We announced this in November 2015 in Paris at the founding conference of the International Solar Alliance. I was there. We said we'll do 20 gigawatts in 7 years. And some of these TV channels took my soundbite. You think you'll do it? I said, we try. Oh, no, you can't, etc. You know how much time it took to do 21 gigawatts? 3 years. What we had said 7 years, we did it in 3 years. And then I called these channels. I said, would you like another soundbite from me? Oh, no, sir, our cameraman is ill. Our producer has gone on leave. All kinds of rubbish. These are guys who are paid to break your self-confidence. Don't listen to them. Similarly, we've set ourselves now a target of 175 gigawatts of renewable energy in the next 2 years. Look, I'll report to you a conversation with one of our leaders. 175 gigawatts of renewable energy, 100 gigawatts is solar energy. This leader asked us, I was there. He said, can you do it by 2022? I've announced it. We said, sir, we won't wait till 2022 to do it. This is the spirit of India. Gung-ho. Of course we can do it. Who can stop us? Do it.
There's another question from, despite HAL and ADA, which both are based in Bangalore.
Come again.
The HAL and ADA,
yeah,
they're both based in Bangalore. Despite the, why are aircrafts, good aircrafts, not produced in India?
Of course they are. Who told you this? They don't let you into HEL. Go and see what's happening. Look, I mean, I'll start saying things which I shouldn't because this is a public forum. But the Tejas combat aircraft, the Mark II version, can take on any fighter aircraft made anywhere in the world. It'll take time for it to come on stream. So we've got this Rafale and these Sukhois to meet our immediate requirements. We've got a couple of squadrons of the Tejas, but the upgrades that we are doing to that, your fellows across the border are terrified. They run to the toilet 20 times a day. They've seen the capability of our aircraft. They've seen the capability of your BrahMos missile with pinpoint accuracy. I can deliver it to our enemies inside the letterbox outside their house. Come on, guys. This is a new India. Ye Naya Bharat hai. New India. And we can take on the world. Of course we can. We will.
So I think last question from my side would be radiology is something which one girl child is asking. What is the future of radiology?
When we are using artificial intelligence, by the way, radiology, you're talking of X-rays and all that?
Correct, see.
Right? X-rays and the other things, MRIs. All right. I always say never argue with a radiologist because he or she has inside information. Knows everything going on in my system. Listen, that's going to be very, very sharp. The whole X-ray system is going, but now the new thing is magnetic resonance imaging and whatever the new scans that are coming. Absolutely. I mean, we are a health superpower. No one can match us. And we'll continue to rise. Therefore, any area associated, nuclear medicine, radiology, heart transplant, cardiology, whatever they call the brain thing, brainology or whatever you call it. What is it called? I forget. So, my brain is no longer what it used to be. So fellows who go around doing brain surgery, etc. These are the new things for the future. Absolutely. So I would say that go for any area that you feel you are comfortable with. Beta, sometimes think with your heart and feel with your mind. That's the way. Don't always think with your mind and feel with your heart. Think with your heart.
I want to ask one last question.
One question.
Yeah.
Let this be the last, but not the ultimate. You can have many more questions.
Yeah. Sir, actually, I'm dealing with many young children. When I'm teaching, they have come up with one difficulty. They will decide to do one thing, but they have no patience. They want the results instantly. They have no patience.
I entirely support what these kids are saying. If they don't like what they are doing, change. Look, my own family, the kid went 3 years to med school in the US, medical school, said, Dad, I don't like it. So, Dad, I want to learn Spanish. All right. Quit medicine, go to Spanish. Did a year of Spanish. Dad, I don't like it. So what do you want to do? I want to do business administration. All right, go and do that. That is America. That is why it's the most intellectually powerful country in the world. I joke about this. I call him Bill Gates. I call him Gil Bates, but you call him Bill Gates, right? So whenever I see him, I'm going to ask him that, Mr. Gates, your name is Gates. Why do you make windows? But the intellectual ferment, the intellectual productivity of that country is more than any other in the world because they value a child's freedom to choose. Mommy and daddy, forget it. Your sons and daughters, as Bob Dylan's song says, your sons and daughters are beyond your command. Listen to them. Let them fly. Let them unfurl their wings and fly. And they will take India to heights that you can't even dream of. For the times, they are a-changing. I don't sing well, but that's what Bob Dylan said.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
So there has been a lot of positive notes. Somebody telling, okay, Nostradamus predictions have come true. And today, Ambassador Deepak Vohra, you brought this magic into our evening. There is, again, Lakshmikant, Professor Lakshmikant is principal. He says, blessed to listen to you, proud to be Indian.
Thank you, sir.
Then there is Professor Rajshekhar. He's saying, oh, definitely we have a bright future. So now they all feel being proud of India after listening to you. They feel, okay, many of them telling, okay, I will be reborn and I'll do something now. There's one question from Yashoda. She says, what about rural development?
No question. I mentioned agriculture as one of the sunrise areas for the future. I mean, long ago, President APJ Abdul Kalam had talked of Pura providing urban amenities in rural areas. No question, rural India and small and medium industry, micro, small and medium industry is the answer. About 70% of MSMEs in India today, sir, note the figure, 7 out of 10 are in rural India. And then the rural market, we talk of a $3 trillion economy in India. Look, you can argue till the cows come home, whether it's 2.9 trillion or 2.8 trillion, it doesn't bother us. $3.3 trillion economy in India, and over half is contributed by rural India. I mean, how many televisions and cars can you buy, Professor Janardhan, madam? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, it's in rural India that the market lies, and the smart fellows are rushing there. You know, sir, I come from the Punjab, and when I travel to areas, remote areas of the Punjab, suddenly you find a Mercedes showroom over there. And then some people have reported this conversation between a farmer dad and his son. And the dad says, Dad, I want to buy a Lamborghini. And he says, why? He says, because my friend bought a Mercedes. I mean, this is the kind of hopes, aspirations, the passion that the young people of India have. Sons and daughters of India, go ahead, but go ahead with integrity, integrity, and integrity. That's what India wants. If mommy and daddy guide you otherwise, ignore them. Move, listen to what your heart says. Listen to what your nation needs. India, somebody once told me on a particular issue that you can't do this because there is no way. And I said, I swear to you, I'll either find a way or I'll make a way. Do it. You can.
Yeah. So there's one last question. Will Make in India campaign have a positive outcome on the Indian economy?
No question about it. I mean, all these fellows who are rushing to make in India, all Indian companies that are going to make, no question. Look, PM has talked of a $5 trillion economy. He said we'll do it in 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. The opposition or the fellows who oppose it, no, it'll take 10 years to. How does it matter if it's 5 years or 6 years or 7 years? The fact is it's a vision. The fact is it's a goal. Of course, we'll do it ahead of schedule. We are not gods, guys. We are Indians. That's the next best thing. Of course, we'll do it.
So there's one interesting question. How do I know I'm passionate about a particular discipline or a particular field of study?
Try everything. Become a dilettante. Jump from one to the other and see what responds to your passion. I tried joining the Tata Administrative Service. I applied for a job in Hindustan Lever. I tried this. I was a teacher for a year. Then suddenly one day my dad said he was, whatever in whatever he was doing, he said join the civil service. So I wrote the exam, hoping that I would fail and I would pursue my passion as a teacher. Unfortunately, I came first in the exam. So I joined the foreign service. Well, it's been a great career. I wouldn't change it for anything. You have to move around. You have to talk to people. You have to see what gives you that feeling of satisfaction. The fire in your belly, guys, that tells you what you're meant to do. All right? And do it. Don't worry if you've done a year of physics and you don't like it. Leave it. Go somewhere else. Age today doesn't matter. Your chronological age is relevant. It's your biological age that is important. How enthusiastic you feel, how energetic you feel. It'll come to you. You'll find it. Talk to 1 million people, but make your own choice. The voice will come from within. Think with your heart. Feel with your mind. You'll find the answer.
Sir, we had a test and we rescheduled it for this event today. And but the participation, the way the questions are coming here, the pouring, I mean, it's something very nice. It's all thanks.
You want me to continue? I can. I don't have an issue.
So there's heartfelt thanks to the broadcast, Dr. Deepak's today's presentation in all our induction programs. Okay, there's a suggestion from a principal of one of our campuses. He says your broadcast should become a part of an induction program in every campus. So that is the energy that you have brought today. Yes. I mean, appreciate your time and thank you, sir. I'm seeing for the first time a lot of our senior faculty also being here. I requested them. I told them how to engage a class. 45 minutes, can you put fire, make every child stand up, listen, and remember things for life. In that 45 minutes is probably the most wonderful. And you have been a great example, without being a formal teacher. So Every teacher here in this conversation, they are standing up, giving you a salute. Thank you, sir, for coming and joining us.
Thank you very much, Professor. In the near future, whenever you have a chance with your
Yes.
faculty and senior students, I'd like to do one more session, Mr. Vice Chancellor, on Kashmir. We want to tell everybody the truth about Kashmir. And you know that now we are going in a big, big way. We'll talk about the mistakes we've made and we'll talk about the reality today. Your neighbor across the border, I'm afraid his stomach is perpetually out of order because he doesn't know what I'll do next. And when I hit, sir, you might have seen India's soft power. Now the fellow will see the strength of steel that is my fist. And I promise you this, within 12 months, we'll sort it out, sir.
Yeah, we at Dhananand Sagar University, to all the participants, we would like to again, tell you, there's a beautiful place here, the Innovation Campus, and the industry has believed in what we are doing here, what we intend to do. The government of India has believed in what we wanted to do. They have allowed us to set up an Atal Innovation Center here and giving us a 10 crore grant. And and there's a BTech program in computer science and leading to an entrepreneurship. So we want you to, we seed the idea of entrepreneurship when a child is, is in class 9, and we nurture that thought throughout. And when the child comes into college, this is it. You enroll into a program called BTech in entrepreneurship. You walk out with a company in your hand and a product in another hand, a degree, a university degree. And if for any reason, if your venture does not take off, it's not failure, it's an experience. And the corporates would hire you at a premium. So this is what we want to talk and convey to the young people. More than the young people, the parents also should know, yes, we all prepare all the kids to get good jobs in industry, but keep this line of option open that Made in India is now a reality. The Prime Minister is very serious about it. And the China is now being shown its place. So the next big manufacturing economy would be India. And we have a hero who's been championing the cause of Made in India here with us. So we look forward to having more such sessions. A lot more people will be joining us. Sir, we have the Vice Chancellor here. We would like to say something. There have been a lot of messages coming to the speaker here, Ambassador Sir. I think we should spend more time with kids. Overwhelming messages coming here, telling thank you. Sir, the Vice Chancellor.
Yeah. So thank you very much. It was one of the energizing talks that we heard in the recent past. I think each and every one in the audience appreciated and liked what it is. We came to know the kind of things that are going on in this country. I think we are fortunate to be Indians and probably we are at the right time. I'm sure for the questions that are coming in, please remember this opportunities for every field that we are talking about. Because gone are the days where a particular area had opportunities. Now there are plenty of opportunities and everything. And I thank on behalf of the university and all the people attended this seminar. I think thank you, Dr. Deepakora. And we sincerely request you to give your time to talk to our students, the senior students also, and the others.
Probably whenever you want, sir, whenever.
Sure. We will definitely make this as a part of our induction program, probably for 15, 20 minutes to tell our students what this country is all about. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, all of you. The team here, Imtiaz, Abida, several people in Dhananand Sagar University and in DSA campus have been working with me to make these events successful. Thank you, all of you. And Dr. Raghavendra, are you there for the information of all the participants and the guest here? We are doing a free CET program and the DSAT program and the NEET training program. They are engaged, thanks to Dr. Raghavendra and his team, wonderful team, 3 sessions of 90 minutes each every day. And this was being done in a small way 5 years ago and 4 years ago and 3 years ago also. But that was benefiting only a small number of people. But today, because thanks to the pandemic, we have put all this training program for the poor kids to write any entrance exams, any competitive exams, to preparing them to enter university and score high, score well. So we got the benefit of the best of faculty who are doing a great job. And every week after certain chapters are covered, there's a weekly test. And after 5 tests, it ends in 2 exams. And we expect all these kids to do extremely well in the entrance exams, including the state level competitive exam called the CET, then the NEET, and then our own exam called the Dayanand Sagar admission test. The DSAT exams are happening. Any of you participants and parents interested in knowing what is the Dayanand Sagar admission test, please visit our website. It's already with you, or www.dsu.edu.in. Thank you, Professor Bhatt and your team. I would acknowledge the great work that you have been doing, Abida, everybody, Imtiaz. And I
Thank
can
you so
see
much.
Dr. Lakshmikant here. Thank you. I'm sure all your team has participated. Yeah, it was a wonderful session. Grateful thanks to again to everybody.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
sir.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, sir.
Thank you.
Vande Mataram.
Vande Mataram.
Vande Mataram.